Hi everyone, it's Lisa and welcome to Make It Monday. Today is week 8 in my techniques series, so make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you don't miss any of the upcoming series. Today's technique is called whitewash. I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm going to hold it up a little bit closer, but you can see the pigment changes in the color on the paper. The interesting thing about this technique is it's done on neutral cardstock. The very first thing you're going to need is a piece of neutral cardstock, and I have chosen crumb cake. I'll show you a little bit later in the video some other colors that I experimented with. I'm going to use the top note die today to cut myself out a shape using my Whisper White ink pad, and I'm going to choose a stamp from the stamp set, Secret Garden. The one great thing about the stamp set is that you're going to notice that there is a lot of open shaped flowers, which are the best way to do this technique. So I'm going to go ahead today and I'm going to select the smaller flower from the stamp set, my white ink pad, and before I get started we're going to use the Embossing Buddy. The Embossing Buddy is an anti-static powder. Rubbed over your cardstock will tell the embossing powder not to stick where there is an ink. So I'm going to ink up my flower and I'm going to stamp some random images all over this little top note die. Okay, I'm going to go pour powder on it and then heat set it. So this is what we've got. What we're going to do next is we are going to squeeze the ink pad to get residual ink from the pad itself into the lid of the ink pad. The one great thing about the Stampin' Up! Ink pads is we've made the lids flexible. So turn it over, squeeze in the center, and when you open up the ink pad, you're going to find a well of ink inside the lid, and that's what we're going to use. Now if you're going to do a lot of these, I would recommend that you use a drop or two of re-inker to make it a little bit easier for yourself. Using my aqua painter, I always like to give it a little bit of a squeeze to make sure that it's not too wet. I do want it damp, but I don't want it soaking wet. And I am going to put my aqua painter inside the well, and I am going to just whitewash these flowers. Now when I tell you there's no rhyme or reason, I'm so serious. So don't take a lot of time trying to make it all pretty because it's not going to matter once we go to color them in. So we're going to do this all the way around and cover up all the flowers. So now that's finished. You're going to let it sit for a couple minutes until it's dry. I'm going to hold this up and see if you can see it. There are some areas that are still shiny, which indicate that it's wet. It's going to evaporate very quickly, or you can take your heat gun over it again one more time just to quickly set the water. The next step that's really important is you're going to want to clean your aqua painter, and you're going to want to hold this over the wet side of your Stampin' Scrub, and you're going to want to squeeze it until all the white ink runs through the bristles, and then I like to wipe it off just to make sure that it's completely clean. The next step would be to pick out a color of your choice. Today I'm going to use the brand new Coastal Cabana, which is one of the new in colors for 2013 and 2014. And just like we did with the white ink pad, we're going to flip this over, we're going to squeeze it to put residual ink inside the lid. Okay, again I'm giving this a gentle squeeze to make sure it's not soaking wet, making sure that this is dry, which it is. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of ink from the well, and I am going to just cover this with that Coastal Cabana. And you're going to notice that I'm not paying any attention to where the light spots and where the dark spots are at this time. So I'm going to go back over to this flower and do the same thing. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back over the dry areas, and I'm going to add just a little bit extra detail. Just to create some more depth in that flower. So just make sure that you get some pigment changes as you go along. I'm going to do the same thing on the next flower, and you're going to do this exact same thing on all the flowers that you've stamped. Now since I'm using the whole top note, of course I'm going to cover the whole thing. But if you're just doing one or two flowers, then you can use the coordinating Secret Garden framelits and cut them out. Then you're going to let this sit and dry. Okay, so there you go. That is whitewash. Now let me show you some samples that I've already created. This is the one at the beginning of the video. Same stamp set, different flowers here, same flower here. Whitewash them, let them dry, and then I used the Midnight Muse. Now this paper is retired now because I had made this sample months ago. Here's another. Now this one you're going to notice I only used partial of the top note die. I used some vellum for the words. Again, Designer Series paper is retired. Here's another. And this one is in raspberry. Pretty, huh? I want to show you what I did here. I experimented today on what it would look like if I had stamped them and embossed them on different color neutral papers. This is Sahara Sand. This one is the brand new Baked Brown Sugar, which is a brand new in color this year. And this is the Crumb Cake, the same one that I've used just to do the demonstration on. This one was Bermuda Bay. And this one was Pacific Point. So the neutral colors do work. They work fine. Here we got the Swallowtail stamp set that's wildly popular. This big, beautiful butterfly. Island Indigo, Bermuda Bay, Soft Sky, and there's a tad in here of Pear Pizzazz, although you really can't see it unless it's in person. I'm going to hold it up a little bit closer. So there you have it. Today's technique is called whitewash. I hope you'll come back next week for another Make It Monday video. Have a great day.